everybody, welcome to On the Paint Table. This is my weekly show where you see what I'm working on, what I got done, and what is coming up next. So this week, oh man, you're gonna see next week. This was the week of licensed product painting, of people who have licenses getting ready to try out and paint and build their games. So we got some stuff from Fallout Wasteland Warfare. Actually, we have all the starter set stuff for Fallout Wasteland Warfare, and all the starter set stuff for A Song of Ice and Fire finished. And then, of course, I shouldn't say I had half the stuff for A Song of Ice and Fire, one of the two armies in the box, done. And then, of course, we got some new stuff coming up. We got some Monsterpocalypse on the horizon. Mike from Epic Duck Studio is literally the most excited I've ever seen him about playing this game. And we have the two players, or the two one-player starter sets for the Protectors and the Destroyers. On the paint table today, some more Titanicus stuff and some new stuff for Rumble Slams. Let's take a look at what got done and what is coming up. So once again, I kind of had a big week this week. I painted a lot of miniatures. I started all of this on Saturday last week. So it's been 7 days and I painted all this stuff. Let's look at the first thing I finished, which was the Song of Ice and Fire Stark half of the two-player starter set. So this is what you get in the box. You get 4 units and Grey Wind. So you get some Stark Outriders there in the back on their horses. You get a unit of Umber Berserkers, who are the big hairy mountain men, led by Big John Umber. And then you get 2 units of Sworn Swords, Stark Sworn Swords. Say that 5 times fast. Watch me stumble over that in the battle report a whole bunch. Then you get Grey Wind, who's a free unit that you get if you take Rob Stark, the Young Wolf. And then you get a bunch of heroes. So I've actually, one of the swords is broken on these guys. So you actually get 2 of these, 2 guard captains, or sorry, Stark worn sword captains. And then you get an Umber Berserker champion, who are hero attachments for your units. You get Great John Umber, who's a wonderful big giant miniature here, and character from the books, who's one of the sworn bannermen of the Starks and a big loyal supporter of theirs. And you get Rob Stark, who is the young wolf there, of course, dies at the Red Wedding, and spoiler alert. And you get 2 non-combat units who fight for the intrigue board. And they don't actually go into units in the battlefield, they will go into the intrigue board during the game. You get Catelyn Stark and Sansa Stark, who does have abilities beyond crying. And so yeah, those are the sort of like the combat and non-combat units you get. So these ones will be off the table, and these ones will be on the table. And what they'll do is they'll influence each other. So you'll see the Let's Play coming up on Monday for this, where I take on the Lannisters. And paint up the Lannister half of this, and we rock and roll the game and give it a shot. So that's the first half of what I got done. Looks like it's 12 per stand. So 36, 40, 41, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 models. 8 if you count the Broken Swordsman, whose sword is just never going back on, so I've kind of just abandoned him. So 48 models for the first half of the week, and then I moved on to these guys over here. And 2 of these models were actually painted earlier. I should pull them off for completeness sake. I actually gave the PVC starter set Nora and Dogmeat to Mike from Epic Duck Studios to paint on his stream, but they're part of the starter set, so I just put them down for the sake of showing off. I painted up these folks. I painted up a T60 suit of power armor, Sturgis, voted sexiest man alive in Sanctuary 2 days running. And then we've got 2 settlers there, an enslaved tech in his super sweet, I don't know what it's, bondage diaper or something that he's wearing, the super mutants gave him to have him fix their guns and stuff. We got Ronnie Shaw in the back, and then we got Mama Murphy, who I did not kill with chem addiction in my playthrough of the game, just so you know. And who comes with, of course, Psycho and Jet, or no, Mentats and Jet? Buffett? Something. She comes piled full of drugs when you play her in the game. And is good at pushing buttons and telling the future. So this is actually supposed to be Aspirant Goddard, who is a Brotherhood of Steel character in the box, but I painted mine as a recovered suit of U.S. Army power armor, because you can just equip power armor to heroes in the game too. So I wanted my Soul Survivor to be equipable with power armor, so I painted this suit, and I'll have a second one that I'll paint up as the Brotherhood of Steel one when I get my my resin copy of the starter set. And this way I have like a spare suit of power armor basically done up in that. And that's the stuff that you get in the starter sets. Actually, sorry, you don't get the named characters, the Heroes of Sanctuary Heroes. These were resin samples I had that I painted this same week just to have extra models to play with. So it's these 6 survivors you get in the starter set, and then on top of that you get a Deathclaw, because you gotta have some kind of Wasteland critter, and this is of course the most impressive Wasteland critter, so he's in the starter set. This is super huge, very cool, just an awesome miniature. I painted with just a combination of airbrushing. Don't ask me the colors because I mixed them to match the picture of a Deathclaw on my phone, and then some washes, glazes, and highlights afterwards to give this cool Deathclaw look. And this is, of course, the color it is. Whoa, crazy! When you get out of the box, it's the Super Mutant Green. And there's the Super Mutants, and these are, again, the PVC ones. You get a Brute with a hammer. It's pretty cool. Big giant hammer here. We get a pair of Super Mutants, one with a bolt-action pipe rifle or a assault rifle, pipe assault rifle, and twin, I don't know if they're pipe shotguns or combat shotguns, or they can kind of be what you want them to be. That's kind of the cool thing, because Guns and Fallout are pretty crazy looking. And then 2 Super Mutant Hounds that I painted up. Now these were done with a combination of airbrushing and washing, and what I did for them was I airbrushed them all like in that kind of muted brown that is the ketone for like all of Fallout. Basically, it's like a brown gray. And I used a color that I have many pots of still because I hoard it, that it doesn't exist anymore, called Cherry on Granite from GW. And now put it through my airbrush. And the skin is done by glazing on, I think it's Doom Bull brown. So you thin down that and put a little medium in it, and you get that nice reddy brown subtone to everything that gives it like blotched mutant skin. And then I take the Cherry on Granite and I blend in just like yellow beiges, like a Xandri Desert or something like that, to bring it up to a lighter color. And that's how I get my Super Mutant skin tone. The metals are all done just by water washing with some pigments, rust pigments and stuff like that. And then I stipple in the color I want them to be. So like if an armor plate is like a blue or something like that, I'll stipple that on top afterwards. And then pick out the edges with some silver to make it sort of battle damage and stuff. And the bases are done all pretty much the same way. I use a bit of Agrax Earthshade over that base tone of Cherry on Granite to just sort of define everything, and then blend up some, what was it, Astronomicon Gray with Administratum Gray. No, Adeptus Battle Gray? I can't remember the names anymore. I just can hold them in my head, right? Like, I would still call them Codex Gray and Fortress Gray if I could. And then like whatever the lightest gray is, Ultimate Gray, I think, just like blended in to do the edges of some Dawnstone. Yeah, and then yeah, pretty much the same for all the bases across here, and the metallics and stuff done the same way too. So a lot of fun. Just like the only model I have now that I haven't painted is I have a resin Preston Garvey, and he's so annoying in the video game I couldn't bring myself to paint him yet. So he'll get painted for next week. Maybe if I can forgive him for all those quests he puts me on, but that's the extent of my current Fallout collection until my pre-order comes in for Modiphius, which I'm excited about too. In which case I start looking through other stuff. But I've got a whole series planned for this, going through the introductory games from the box set, which are actually really detailed and really good, and alternating between 2-player and the co-op / AI version, where you can do single-player games too. Just show off those rules for you guys. So I think you're going to really enjoy that. It starts next week as well, with a Let's Play on Friday. And then we'll be alternating. We're gonna fall in the 2-week schedule, which should be great going forward as I add in new things and try out new stuff as it comes in. So yeah, that's another 5, 10, 13 miniatures. So 61 miniatures painted this week, because we can't count those two because I painted them before. And yeah, that's a pretty big chunk of models I did, and a lot of licenses this time around. And it's just got some of the stuff that's coming up. We got some Monsterpocalypse with the Defender box set and the Destroyers box set. I'm going to be painting the Defenders first because I think Mike's most excited about the Destroyers. Anyway, they're the one that he like cracked open and started painting first, and giving that a go. And you only really need one monster to start playing the game, because it's like a giant monster wrestling game. It's a bit like watching like an old Ultraman or, you know, Voltron or whatever, where like the 2 giant monsters go out in the city, and their little supporting things just kind of support them. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited to learn. I've never played it before. I never played the original, and I'm a lot more excited about it now that I have miniatures to actually paint as opposed to the pre-painted stuff that was collectible and stuff before. It's not really my jam. I'm not so into that. So this is more up my alley, and I'm really stoked to give it a go. The box has come with pretty much everything. Actually, I should just show you this, because otherwise you're just going to see it get played and you won't see an unboxing. Taking the cover off that with my left hand was not happening. So you get cardstock buildings, you get all of your cards for all of your stats. So buildings, the tanks and stuff, and then of course this is Defender X, who's the big robot. You get 2 sets of destroyed templates, and then all your little status icons like locked and numbers. You get a mat, which I'm actually probably going to mount. I might take it to Staples and get it plaqued. I don't know, something to make it a little easier to play on. And then you get this right here, which is the the Defender X and all this stuff in resin, so it's pretty nice. And you get a pile of dice, like an absolute pile of dice to play with. Like, this is more dice than I think I've ever seen come in a single player starter set like that. And you get a rule book too, so you get a full, like, whatever, I don't know how many page, looks like 30 pages, something like that, with all the scenarios and stuff as well. And of course, all the rest of the rules are on the cards, so ready to go to the box. You have everything. Like, if your opponent only had miniatures and cards, you'd have everything for 2 people to play right to this box, which is pretty rad. I'm pretty stoked about it, and of course we'll do a Let's Play. There's only like 5 models to paint, so it's gonna come down to when does Mike paint it? I'm guessing we might play it next week because he's pretty jazzed about this, and he can paint 5 models pretty fast when he wants to. So we'll see how it goes. But I'll tap him and see what his plans are for timeline wise, and then of course you'll see a Let's Play relatively quickly after that, because this should be a lot of fun. I may take the board to go get mounted though, because I think that'll make it look better on camera. So I'm probably gonna take it to Staples and say, hey, can you mount this on like a MDF backing, and then we'll have like a solid board to play on. Some knights for Titanicus. The plan with these is we're gonna do House Metallum and the new knight styles. So vote for your favorites. I'm thinking Baroness, Red Fang, and Mastodon. That's my thoughts. You tell me, who should we do from the knight list that we have, because the sword could go in there too, but I really like the melee weapons, and I'm steeply considering doing it that way. Finally got some Cryptborn Nightmares. My cards came in for these guys, so I'm gonna paint these up. I'm really hoping, Jay and I have some plans in the near future for some more This Is Not a Test. I'm really hoping we could do some 3-player Rumble Slam at the same time. So we got some ideas, we got some friends coming in, we're gonna do a multiplayer game for something else. I'd like to try some Rumble Slam too, so we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna get them painted in the meantime just to have, and because it's fun to paint the woo skeleton. I'm pretty stoked to paint these, it should be fun. So you got another on the paint table on the book, 61 miniatures painted. Yeah, that's a lot. It was a big week. Of course, I use a lot of airbrushing and stuff for the Starks that helped me power through it. And then from there, it was just base coating and washes and a few highlights. So it wasn't like it was... when I do mass combat, things like that, as long as they're a uniform color and stuff, you can kind of cut some corners. And if you've got an airbrush or even just rattle cans, there's some techniques, not like the Fallout stuff where everybody's kind of a character and individual. I want to spend some time on them. You can power through some infantry like that pretty fast. And because there's only like 4 or 5 sculpts too, I would just line the same sculpts out, and even speeds it up even more, doing production line painting like that. And so, yeah, they were not that hard to do. I think I painted them in probably 3 5-hour sessions, and that was from like... I put the basing material on them and just base coated them with some rattle cans for black. So yeah, no, it was fun. They were certainly a fun army to paint, and the Fallout stuff was just a joy to paint because I love Fallout. It's gonna be, you're gonna end up watching a lot of Fallout. And the thing is, nothing's gonna stop me from making Fallout either, because like if people don't come in and play it, I can just play it by myself with the AI rules. And I'm really enjoying painting the miniatures. I have such a big post-apocalyptic collection too that like, yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Lots of Fallout, lots of This Is Not a Test, lots more Apocalypse stuff coming in. And you can check out that stuff next week. So Song of Ice and Fire and Fallout Wasteland Warfare both will be premiering for the first time Monday and Friday next week. And you can see the rules then. So we'll see you for more on the paint table. Check out Widget Wonders tomorrow. Until next time, I'm Ash. Happy wargaming. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.